Coming up next on Virginia Outdoor Life, learn everything you need to know to become an expert at fly fishing. Plus, keep your aim true as we head to the shooting range with tips and techniques for muzzle loading. The big show is right on target. It's Virginia Outdoor Life. Next. Hi, and how are you? Welcome to the show. This is Virginia Outdoor Life for Saturday, January 25th. I'm Bob Matthews along with Eric Burnley, and today we are coming to you live from Angler's Lab Outfitter in Virginia Beach, which, by the way, is a licensed Orvis dealer.
That's right, that's right. They have all the Orvis equipment, the clothing, the whole line. It's a very nice facility, very nice store.
It really is. And of course, when you talk Orvis, of course, you're talking fly fishing. That is what they live, sleep, eat, and breathe here.
Yeah, and that's been a tradition for over 100 years, well over 100 years. It's the Orvis store in Vermont is just unbelievable to go in there. That's the original. And then, of course, all these other stores are in that image where there's nothing but first-class, high-class quality clothing and fishing equipment.
And since we're here and they are doing fly fishing, that's what we're doing today.
Yep.
First up, you're going to give us a little demonstration on how to fly fish.
Well,
right?
we're going to talk about, especially in this area, we're going to try to tailor it to this area, what you need to go fly fishing in this area.
Excellent. After that, we're going to learn how to tie a fly. I'm going to try my hand at that. I think we all know just how painful that might be. Hopefully, we'll be able to get through it with a minimum amount of injuries. First up, though, let's go with the captain on over to find out just how to fly fish down here, Virginia and Carolina style.
Okay, we're here with Ron Russell. He's a technical advisor at the Orvis shop here in Virginia Beach. And Ron, why don't we get right to it and talk about some of the flies that the folks can use here in the Tidewater area, starting off with the panfish flies for the sunfish and the bluegills.
All right. I'm just going to dump them out here in your
That's
hand.
fine.
These are probably your standard brim and small panfish flies that are used in any of the farm ponds around the area, and can also be used down in Currituck, Back Bay area, and any of the small little lakes around this area, especially the Suffolk Lakes. They'll pick up anything that's hitting surface poppers, and you may pick up white perch, crappie, bass, bluegill,
etc.
etc.
All right, now we have stock trout here at Northwest River Park, and you recommend these particular flies for that particular fishery.
Exactly. Any one of these four little patterns, if you took it down to Northwest River Park, you might be able to catch some trout down there. Eric and I were talking earlier about it when we said anything that looked like a kernel of corn would probably work well too. I know that the San Juan worm and these little minnow representations will take the trout down there because they don't have any natural source of food, so they'll eat anything that looks like it's a bright color flashy.
Now let's get into the largemouth, our big holes.
Yep. Then we go into the largemouth bass, and you can obviously see that we're going for bigger fish, so therefore we're using bigger flies. Brighter colors. Most of these are surface riding lures.
Right.
You got a Sneaky Pete, which is a soft body popper, so that your paint doesn't chip off anymore.
Oh, cool, yeah.
And then we got a mouse representation.
Right.
We all know that the farm critters crawl around on top of the lily pads,
And
the bass love to eat them.
Okay, now finally we get them over here to the saltwater that's available in this area, and I won't even try to pick those up. You can just kind of go down them if you want.
All right, I'm just going to run down through them real quick. When Eric and I went out fishing earlier in the season, as a matter of fact, first day of season,
Right.
we went out fishing for the stripers, and we were using these type of flies right through here. Clouser minnows, deceivers, and anything that we thought would represent the bait fish that was available at that time. As the season progressed, the flies had to get bigger because the fish got bigger. So we went out at night and we were out fishing in the daytime, and we're using these big monsters.
Okay, now what size rod and line would you recommend?
Jump up in line size, meaning that you want to go a little bit bigger. So I'd go up to probably a 9-foot 8 weight or a 9 weight, fishing all of these flies.
What size rod and line for the bass, for the largemouth?
For largemouth bass, you can go with a 6 weight. It might be just a little bit light to cast these bigger flies. Jump up to a 7 or an 8 weight. And roughly an 8.5 or 9 foot will suffice quite well.
And your smallmouth?
Smallmouth, 6 or 7 weight line, preferably a 7 to an 8.5 foot rod.
And of course the little trout and the panfish are
The
still
small
back.
trout and the panfish, then I'd say around an 8.5 foot 6 weight.
Okay, great. Anyone that's interested in trout fishing, come over here.
Come on
Soup
down.
to nuts, you'll
Yep.
equip them completely.
We can, You walk in the door with a question about whatever type of fishing you want to go do with your fly rod. I can take you back here in the back. I can walk you through any kind of equipment that you're looking for and set you up with an outfit that'll give you a little bit of versatility, plus it'll also give you a specific piece of equipment to go fishing with for that type of fish that you want.
All right, Ron has shown us the equipment we need to get started. Now he's going to show Bob how to tie a fly.
Bob, what are you trying to do?
That's a good question. Why don't you sit down here since you're the expert and show us what we're doing here? You know, this seems like, and heaven knows I am no expert on fly fishing, but it seems like one of the appeals to it is that you can actually make your own lures.
Cheap, economical way to make lures and catch a lot of fish.
Okay, well, what do we got to do here to make one? You start with a hook, obviously.
Obviously, you want to start with a hook. I've got most of the equipment set up here on the bench already. And I was going to start out here with just a simple Clouser minnow, which is can be used both in saltwater and freshwater, just depending on the size that you want to use.
Okay.
The first thing that you've got to get done here is you got to get a little bit of thread on this hook.
So how long does it take to just build your garden variety fly?
This fly, if I was to really take my time and do it correctly and make it presentable or to try and sell it to somebody coming in the store, probably take about 10 to 15 minutes. Usually, if you perfect them, 15 minutes at the most.
Why do people like making their own as opposed to, you know, any other kind of fishing where you just go into a tackle shop and you buy you a lure?
Some people say it's a hobby, some people say it's an obsession. With me, it's an obsessive hobby.
Okay,
So-
kind of split the difference.
And it gives me something to do during the cold winter months. There's not much going on fishing out here, so we just take the time to sit down, catch up on the fly boxes that got emptied out over the last season.
Okay, now what are you doing now?
What I'm doing right now is I'm just building up a little bit of a body to make this look more like a minnow. And as you progress through it, it'll start to take shape each and every step along the way. It always helps to have a good pair of scissors, and always helps to have good lighting. And as you can see, I'm wearing a pair of magnifiers. I'm going to leave a couple items out of here, but you can still take this fly and go fishing somewhere. It's not something that everybody likes to do, but it is just a branch of the tree, the big fishing tree. So that when you get tired of doing one type of fishing, you can move over and do another type. And I got kind of interested in this about 20 years ago, fly tying part of it, and decided this is where I wanted to kind of focus all my attention and energy so that later on in life I would not have a garage full of every type of fishing equipment in the world, that I would just concentrate my efforts towards one.
And this right here is a fly that is pretty much ready to go out and fish with.
That fish would, or that fly right now, if you took it out, if the fish were biting right now, you could catch smallmouth bass on it, you could catch largemouth, you might catch some crappie, white perch, you might pick up some shad running in the rivers. So it's an all-purpose type fly.
Coming up next, we have some muzzle loading for you, a little how-to segment.
Yeah, we went down to Lynn Haven Shooting Range with Jim Kosher, and he showed us what's new with muzzleloaders.
All that and more as Virginia Outdoor Life rolls on from the beach. Welcome back to Anglers Lab Outfitters here in Virginia Beach. You know, even though it's not hunting season anymore, specifically muzzleloading season, it is still good to keep your shot in practice.
That's right, and it's a good time to get a muzzleloader, and then you can use it and be familiar with it before the season opens. We went down to Lynn Haven Shooting Range with Jim Kosher from Connecticut Valley Arms and found out the latest in the new muzzleloading and the proper procedures for using them. Jim, why don't we go over the original CVA weapon and show us some of the features on it, and then we'll know what has changed when we get to the new ones.
Okay, Eric, we got what we call the St. Louis Hawken rifle, one of the original rifles with a side lock. First click is safety. Second click is you're ready to fire. You have to use your set trigger, the back trigger, which sets the front trigger as a hair trigger, and all you've got to do is touch your front trigger and she fires. That's the original St. Louis Hawken replica rifle in the CVA line, which we still sell a lot of.
That is the original. This is the state of the art today. correct,
Right.
Jim?
Right. This is a new stainless rifle, 419 stainless, called the Apollo Comet. It's the inline rifle, meaning the nipple is straight into the powder. It's not a side lock effect. Straight into powder, you pull the hammer back. When you pull the hammer back, the bolt back, excuse me, it goes on safe automatically. To take it off safe, all you do is push that back, ready to fire. And that's all there is to that. This is stainless steel 1 in 32 twist, which means it's a fast twist and uses a special bullet for it, which we call the Deer Slayer bullet.
All right, this is the top of the line, Jim, right? Now we do have some other rifles here that would be a little bit more economical, but just as well built, just as a quality item as well, correct?
Exactly
and the
right.
inline rifle.
Exactly right, Eric. This is a blued barrel, not a stainless barrel. Same principle, inline, but this is what we call a manual safe. You pull the bolt back this way and bring it back up. That's a manual safe. And you can update this by putting the automatic safe on this. You can also do that. Now, that's ready to fire. Once you put the bolt down, she's ready to fire. Same principle, 1 in 32 twist, tapped and drilled for a scope, except that this is a blued
barrel instead of stainless, and
Right.
both of
It
them
has
have the
a
synthetic stocks.
synthetic stocks.
Okay, Jim, now somebody getting into muzzle loading the first time, there are certain accessories that you need to have. You go into the store, you don't know exactly what to buy. CVA has put together a package for the person just getting started, gives them everything they need to get into the sport of muzzle loading, correct?
That's right, Eric. You can see there, this happens to be an inline rifle. All the guy has to do is go into the store, pick this rifle up. Everything's here for him. We even include a video to help him out, to show him how to load it, to clean it. Everything in that video that he needs to know about. And it's all packaged here together. Everything, including the breech plug remover and also the nipple remover.
Okay, Jim, now we have gone through this patch here and done a dry patch in there to make sure there isn't any moisture or cleaning residue or anything that might impede the firing of the powder. Now, the next thing we do is fire a couple of caps. Is that right, Jim?
That's right. You dry fire the caps to make sure your nipple is clear to your side lock here.
Right. I'll pull the front trigger and pop her off.
Okay. Pull your hammer back on safety.
Get rid of the
Okay. Take your cap off. Okay, now we're ready to load it.
cap. Okay, we do that. The gun facing up.
We're going to load it with 65 grains of Paradex pea powder. Pour that powder down in the barrel by holding your hand over it.
Okay.
Now, the next thing we'll do is we'll use our old-time bore cleaner and patch solvent, and this is why this is called a 4-in-1 T-loader, because now you have a ball starter,
Right.
okay, down in there.
Right.
Okay, then you start with your ramrod. This is one of the very most important parts of seating your ball down in. First thing you want to do is remember this is a wooden ramrod, whether it be wooden or fiberglass. You want to take short strokes like that, real short strokes. And then when you get it down in, once again we go back to the 4-in-1 T-loader and hit her down in, put her home. You feel her go down in?
Yep.
Now, a real quick thing to check is this. If you have it seated in the right, take your ramrod up like this and drop it in. See how it bounced?
Bounces. Once it bounces,
She's
she's
seated
safe.
in tight. You're all set. Always remember to take your ramrod out. I've seen so many ramrods come out of rifles about 96 miles an hour.
All right, the final stage, we're going to put our cap in, put it on there, slide it off. Now the gun is armed, but it's still unsafe, still unsafe. And in fact, when we pull it back to here, we still have to pull the back trigger to arm it. Okay, now we're ready to fire. We're going to stand here just like we were hunting. We're not going to use any rests or anything. We're just going to see what we can do. Just firing straight down range.
Fantastic. Bullseye.
Right straight in the middle, isn't it?
Bullseye.
I'm telling you, son.
Bullseye at 25 yards. That thing will be right on at 100 yards. No problem.
All right, if you'd like more information on muzzle loading, especially from the folks at Connecticut Valley Arms, you can call 1-800-251-9412.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Coming up next, we're going to learn how to rig a stretch 25 plus the outdoor scrapbook. You ought to be in pictures.
I imagine.
You get your chance next. That's when Virginia Outdoor Life returns. Welcome back to the show. It's time to open up the outdoor scrapbook and see what we've got this week. And as we were looking at them before, it looks like we got some nice
really
fish,
nice photos.
as well as a couple of deers.
Yep. Let's get to it.
Let's do it. Let's open it up. You want to start?
I certainly will. First up is Michael Twyford and Stephen Fleet from Chesapeake. They were fishing off of Sandbridge on December the 8th aboard the boat, no problem. And it looked like they didn't have any problem at all catching big rockfish up to 36 inches.
Left to right, we have Jason Ramsey, Chuck Edwards, Al Edwards, H.J. Vick, and Bill Tudor. Now, these are some cottontails and some swamp rabbits taken earlier this month in Southampton County. Travis Ramsey was also part of this hunt. He took the picture. No jackalopes in there. I thought we'd see some of those, but I guess not.
All right, here's Brett Michael Beamer Wolfram of Chesapeake. 5.5 pound spade fish. All right. Caught aboard the boat Miss Gina and captained by Bill Bode. Brett was fishing with his dad at the Chesapeake Light Tower. He was using clam chunks. Bill Bode sent the picture in. He says he hopes the picture will warm Virginia anglers' hearts in this cold weather. Amen, amen, amen.
This is Jack Pond and Willie Pond Beal. Jack is the grandfather. They are from Sedley, and they both got a deer hunting last month on Grandpa's farm in Southampton County.
All right, grandfather taking the son out, grandson out. That's great. That's fantastic. All right, here we have Joey Hancock, also from Sedley, a 38-inch striper, caught in the bay just off Cape Henry late last month, fishing aboard the Secret Formula with his dad. The fish had been tagged, and they called the number on the tag and found that the fish had originally been caught and released in Belport Bay, New York in 1987.
That's why you got tag and release.
Yep.
Jeff Lindsay of Newport News, our old friend, caught this red drum off the Avon Pier last October. Jeff earned a North Carolina release citation for this catch. And again, as we said, that's the name of the game.
Catch and release, that's what we like.
That's why we do it. All right, how-to time again. What do we got?
Okay, we had a gentleman call in and wanted to know how to rig a stretch 25. I know the biggest part of the base season is open, but these lures will work and have been working in the ocean as well. Mm-hmm. This is a stretch 25, okay? It's made by Manns. The reason they call it a 25 is it's supposed to dive down to 25 feet. We take that same plug and we rig it two different ways. This is the same plug, only I have put larger hooks on it. I have removed the center treble and put two larger, heavier duty trebles on to keep the bass, striped bass or rockfish, whatever, from crushing them. Mm-hmm. This is the same lure, just a different color, and I have left the stock hooks on, but I still remove that center hook. You don't need 3 treble hooks to catch striped bass, okay? It just makes a mess. So that's two ways to do that. The other thing the only way to rig it is to tie it directly to your leader, directly to the leader from the split ring that comes on the lure, and then about a 6-foot length of leader. About a 6-foot length of this is probably 50-pound test, which should be enough. Then you snap that to the snap swivel on your line. Variations on this include a 30-foot leader and a great big heavy drail. It could be 4, 8, 24 ounces even to get the lure even deeper. The same thing, we're using it on wire line. But just to troll the stretch 25 on a monofilament line, 6-foot of leader directly to the split ring, snap directly to the line. That'll go down between 20 and 25 feet depending on how fast you troll and several variables. So that's how you rig a stretch 25.
Okay, sounds good. I'm glad I have my glasses on. I might have had my eye put out if I didn't. Just kidding. You missed me
Stay
by...
out of the way.
Yeah, missed me by...
Did I hit you? My grandfather said inches as good as a mile.
You missed me by a good 3.5.
All right.
We're going to wrap this one up in a second. Got hot product coming up and a whole lot more, so stay tuned. Welcome back to the show. It's hot product time, and this week I get to be Diane Parkinson. We got a great book here from Harry Sloan. It's called Virginia Trout Streams. It's becoming really popular in the state of Virginia.
Oh, yeah, it's always been popular. It's just not around here because we don't have any trout streams.
However, upstate.
Right, exactly.
And out west.
Absolutely.
Well, this book will get you just about anywhere you want to go for some trout fishing. And if that is not enough for you, we have...
All right, this is a little line clipper to clip your leaders off, clip your line off, and it attaches to your fishing vest or shirt or whatever. So you can pull it out, clip it, let it go, and you can go on. You're not going to drop it in the stream or drop it overboard.
That is really ingenious. I mean, I know for somebody that trout fishes a lot or has a fishing vest, it's standard equipment.
Yes,
but
it is.
That is really ingenious. And for the free stuff,
Pete Peterson. He's from Norfolk.
Okay,
so congratulations, Pete. I guess you'll have to take up trout fishing now.
There you go. P.O. Box 300, Norfolk 23501. Put it on a postcard, send it on in. We'll make sure you get in there and get eligible to win.
Yep.
Fishing forecast, what we got this week? Tuna looking good?
Giant bluefin tuna, red, hot, spectacular, Hatteras Inlet once again this year. 15, 20, 30 fish to the day. Just spectacular fishing. Also, possibly some big rockfish in the ocean right off the Virginia beach. So, always a possibility. Fishing is a 365-day a year activity in Virginia Beach and Virginia.
Sounds great. Hey, have a good Sunday. Go out there, catch you some fish, and stay safe. We'll see you next week. He's Eric Burnley. I'm Bob Matthews.
Y'all take them easy.